Hey crafty friends, welcome back. It's Sandy here, and this is Felt Tube number 11. We're playing with Summer Fergus, and he now has a surfboard. Isn't this cool? Okay, so here's the dies, and you need 2 of the main pieces and 1 overlay. I'm going to show you a quick trick here. I have a little bit of black fuzzy on this yellow piece of felt from the legs on the flamingo. If you use a piece of Scotch tape, just like I'm showing you, it picks up all the little fuzzies. I didn't want to stitch those into the seams on my project today. So the first thing we want to do is we want to line up the overlay, and I'm going to use some of my quilting binding clips to hold them in place. I've already poked out all the felt from the holes because I like to see where I'm going. And I like to use 2 or 3 of these clips just to keep everything organized and in place so it doesn't slide on me. Okay, so you have a choice. You can do yellow or teal for your stitching for today. I picked these 2 colors because I thought that they went well. And what we're going to stitch is this inside wave. Okay, we're going to get that stitching done ahead of time so that if we did it afterwards, it would show on the back of the surfboard. I am going to use DMC 992. And I'm using 3 strands. This thread doesn't need to be too long because we are only doing the inside wave. And so we're going to start down on the left-hand side, and you actually want to go into the hole that is part of the outside edge. Okay, that's your first stitch. And you're going to do a running stitch inside and out, and I know it's kind of a pain because your thread gets caught on all of the clips, but it does hold everything in place, and it's quite easy to work around them. And so take your time. There are no holes in the back, obviously, but it's pretty easy to go up and down through all those little guys, and it does a very nice finish once you get it all done. And once you get to the top, you want to do that last stitch right into that edge stitch. Otherwise, you're going to have a stitch showing, and then you're going to turn around and you're going to come all the way back down around again, doing the running stitch, and that fills in all the extra spaces and secures it nicely. And then once you get to the end, you're going to clip off the string, leaving enough space to tie a knot, and we are ready to start doing the outside edge. Again, you want a very, very long thread because we want to go all the way around and back, and I have left those little tails. I'm just going to leave them inside. We're going to add our second layer to the back to cover our background stitching, and again, I'm adding clips. Once I get all the holes lined up and ready to go, and I'm going to add clips down both sides because I don't want this sliding on me. When one of my practice ones, I did let it slide a little bit, and I ended up with a funny little ripple, so it pays to do that. Okay, so like in Fergus, we're going to start by putting our first stitch on the inside and keeping a tail so that we can tie a knot and hide it at the end. And get that first one going, then we're going to go in through all 3 pieces to the back. Okay, and again, just do a running stitch. You're going to go all the way up and around and then come all the way back. I'm going to speed this up for you. Boy, I wish I could stitch this fast. Okay, once you get down to the bottom and you've met up with your stitching, you are going to turn around and you are going to go back the other way. And again, this fills in all of the little holes that you left behind while you were doing the first stitching. And again, I'm going to speed this up. Try and keep that tail out of the way of your stitching because you want to use that to tie off your knot at the end, and we need to hide it inside so it doesn't show on the back of the board. Okay, so I've gone all the way back around and I'm back where I started, and so you want that last stitch to go back into the middle, and then take your needle off. You're going to do a double knot, okay, and that should be in between the 2 pieces of blue. Snip that really, really close, and then take a little bit of glue with a fine tip. This is barely art glue, and I'm just going to add a little bit of glue to it and then squeeze it together, and that will stop that knot from ever coming undone and leave me a nice finished look because the knot's going to be buried in between the 2 pieces of felt. So that finishes the surfboard, and it looks pretty cool just the way it is. But of course, you have all these awesome summer embellishments. So I decided to embellish mine, and I'm going to match it up to my Jimmy Buffett Fergus with all of his pink flamingos. So I'm adding the feet first, and then I'm going to add the body. Okay, we're going to put that little beak on the back first. So there's a big part of the back of the beak, and that actually makes the eyeball look black as well. Okay. Add as much glue as you can to the back of these guys. And then glue it in place, and you want to hold it for a couple of minutes or seconds just to get it in there. I'm going to add a dab for his little wing. Okay, and then we've got a little sun that we're going to put up top. I like this little Aztec-y sun. I think it's kind of cool. Okay, and don't blob glue on your surfboard. It's water-based, so it does wipe up. Okay, and then I also have one of the little flowers, so I'm going to put the center on the flower. And this is the same flower and the same color. It's the hibiscus that I used on Fergus's coat. Okay, get that little flower in there, and before it dries completely, I am going to add the leaves, and I'm just going to tuck them underneath one of the petals of the flower. And I didn't stitch these leaves, but I did on Fergus. So you have the option. The holes are there if you want them, and then once they're glued down, you can't see the holes. There we go. There's our little surfboard, and look at this trio. Isn't that cute? Isn't that going to look awesome in your tiered trays or just sitting somewhere in your house for the summer vacation? I hope you enjoyed today's tutorial, and I hope you will have fun making your summer Fergus. Everything that I have used today is listed underneath this video, and there's also links over to Spellbinders for your shopping convenience. Thanks so much, and see you again soon. Bye now.